Let us start the session. So, welcome to OnlineITVidhya online training program. And in this session, we are going to discuss about that Angular. Okay. So, yeah, I'll give all the corresponding details. Okay. Just a second. I'm going to share the presentation screen. Yeah. So, welcome to Angular, the training program. Yes. So today, first of all, I would like to say thank you, all of you, for joining in this session in this evening. So we are going to uh, discuss about some important the areas, the information about that Angular. So what exactly the Angular is, and what is the purpose of Angular, and I'm just provide my details also as a the trainer. You should know about myself, okay, and my profile introduction, and plus as well as, okay, I'll give some information about these web related, like how Angular is important into the market. Okay, right. So let us move forward. Okay, if you have any queries, can you please write it down in your notebook? Yeah. Yes. So if you have any queries, please write down in your notebook or in cell phone. So whatever you are using, the gadgets. Okay. I'll give the time. Okay. At that time, you can ask the queries. Okay. If you have any queries. Okay. So because in the middle of the session, because when I'm taking the session, because in the middle of the session, if you ask the questions, that the flow will be disturbed, and that is distracting to other guys also. Yes, your questions are important, no doubt about it. You just keep your the questions with you, okay, and you just write it down or note down somewhere. And whenever I give the time, at that time or in the middle of the session also, I will ask the questions. At that time, you no need to switch on the mic. Okay, you just use a chat panel to communicate with. Okay, for communication aspect. Okay, so that I will address accordingly. Right. Thank you. Right. Let us move forward. Okay, so welcome back to now Angular training program. And before we are discuss about the technical details, I just want to share my my profile. And okay, so my name is Narsimha, and I have 15 plus years of IT industry experience. Okay, in different aspects. Okay, especially in development and as well as training also. Now I'm working as a freelancer, the senior corporate training consultant for different companies like Cognizant, Capgemini, and several the companies. I'm working as a full stack, the training consultant for several companies. Even still in the lockdown time period, also I am giving the trainings for several employees who are working in different companies. Okay, I'm having around 15 plus years of experience in different areas in the technology. The complete full stack, that means client side and server side. Okay, like server end, like .NET technologies, and the client side, all UI related areas. So several areas that I have hands-on experience. I worked with Microsoft client for different products. So in the year of 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10 time period, I work with Microsoft client for different projects. Okay, and I handle several trainings. Okay, that includes one of the my favorite subject is the Angular. Okay, because this is provides a wonderful facilities for nowadays. We have huge demand for Angular. Okay, I know the Angular from 2011 onwards. Okay, because at that time the beta was released. 2012 is the main version. Anyway, in version history, we come across several points regarding this. Okay, apart from that, the jQuery, Bootstrap. Okay, I handled several other trainings as well. Okay, and my qualification is MCA. I'm giving value-added trainings for different US consultants. Okay, mean stack, mean stack is one of the popular combination nowadays. If possible in future, we are planning to introduce that complete a mean stack training program also, if possible. Okay, because in India it's just market is started, but in US and UK and Canada, already there's a good market for the mean stack. Mean stack is a it's a combination of Angular with some other technologies. Okay, so I also expertise in that area. Okay, so databases, server side technologies, and client side technologies. Okay, like Angular, all these things. Okay, this is the brief, the information about myself. Right, now we'll move forward. Okay, right. So let us have some technical details. Okay, right. Uh, Fine. So before we understanding about uh, the Angular, why Angular is required, what is the purpose of Angular, what is the need of the Angular. So in order to understand this Angular, first we should have a basic awareness about web development history or the technologies which are available in the web. Okay, right. So here I just want some interactions from your side. Okay, can you please interact through chat panel? Okay, right. So uh, right. So before we move forward, we just small confirmation from your side. Are you able to hear me, all of you? Do you have any audio issues? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Rajshekhar, for your yes.
Yeah,
Very good.
Dhanjay.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Just confirm in the chat panel. No need to on the audio, right? Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Uh, Mr. Anand, maybe you may have some issues at your end because it is very clear for everybody. Okay, please check it out. Okay, right. So I just have some couple of questions that I just want to ask you. Okay. Uh, I hope if you are attending this session, you have some idea about that web development or web technologies. Okay, I just want to have some inputs from you. What are the technologies as per your knowledge? Okay, as per your knowledge, or whatever you heard outside, or whatever the knowledge that you have in your academics or in development, in case if you're working employee. Okay, so what are the technologies that are involved in the web? Maybe you may not be expertise in that technology. Just I want that names. What technologies that are involved in the web? Can you please have some inputs in the chat panel? Yes, thank you, Mr. Rajshekhar. Yeah, I just want some inputs from you. Okay, yeah, drop in the chat panel so that I will collect all these details and we can, uh, based on that, we can discuss it. Okay, yeah. So keep your mics in the mute mode so that will not. Uh, okay, fine. Okay, right. So use a chat panel for communication. Yes, uh, yes. Okay. Some people are responded with okay ASP.NET. Okay, .NET and ASP.NET MVC. Very good. Okay, yeah. Anything else? Anything else? Anything which is related to web? Because you had so many things outside, right? Yeah. In the internet, when you are browsing, yeah, HTML, CSS, yes, Poonam, thank you. Mr. Kapil, wow, I think you are a .NET developer. Okay, so you add so many .NET relevant technologies as well. Oh, right, okay, thank you. Yeah, anything else? Anything else? Yeah, any technologies which is relevant to the web? Yes, web server, JavaScript, and HTML. Very good. Okay, okay, web servers. Web services, right? Good. That is correct. Okay, web services. Mhm. Web services. Uh, okay, okay. You are missing one main item. That is actually what the training program that we are doing, right? So Angular. Okay, Angular is also is related to web. Okay, right. Anything in web project development, what technologies may be involved? Okay, whatever idea, where whatever it is, whether it is a client side or server side, or whether is it a language. Okay, whatever. Yeah, wonderful. Uh, Nishit Ranjan. Nishit Ranjan. Okay, thank you. Yeah, React.js and Vue.js and Node.js. Very good. Okay, right. Okay, thank you. Right. Next, before we discuss this point, is there anybody who are not aware of HTML in this session? Sir, I don't know HTML. First time in my life today only I heard about that HTML. Anybody in this class or in this session? Because I hope you have some basic idea, just at least what is HTML. Okay, I'm not getting any responses that indicates yes, you have some idea about HTML, right? Okay, thank you. Right, now we'll move forward. So let us see, you give that several details. Okay, so there is so many things in our mind. Okay, several developers or several programmers, they may know different titles. Okay, different titles. What I did is, whatever the answers you have given in the chat panel, I keep it in the in the notepad. Okay, now we'll sort it out these areas. Okay, we'll just sort it out, right? Okay, we have so many things in our mind. We heard about so many items, but you know one of the problem is we does not know what items where exactly it is going to be used. Okay, I'll quickly summarize these areas. Okay, so what exactly all these things, if you want to become as a a web programmer or web developer, is it required all these things, and what areas is required? You just have a quick overview on that. Okay, so let me summarize these into some areas, right? So number one, if you look at that, okay, I'm just putting into this part. Okay, HTML, PHP and MySQL, right? This is one category. I'm just separate them. Okay, separating them. Yes, and yeah, MySQL, right? Next, ASP.NET, JSP servlets. Okay, these are all comes under this category. Okay, next, of course, .NET is added already. ASP.NET MVC also is come here. .NET Core is .NET already is there. SQL Server, yeah, SQL Server. Next, jQuery and JavaScript. Sorry, yeah, jQuery and JavaScript. jQuery JavaScript, that should comes here. Okay, of course, JS is nothing but JavaScript only, right? Okay, C# is a part of the .NET. HTML5 is added, MVC is added, Web API and the Entity Framework. These are all some concepts in .NET, and Web API is the services, of course. Yeah, Web Server, JavaScript, HTML, it is there already. Angular, React, Vue.js, and Node.js, right? So in this, yeah, Node.js is comes under here, and then Angular, React, these are all comes under at this location, right? Okay, and here also I'm just categorized into two areas. Okay, so observe carefully. Yes, and this. Okay, yeah, right. Now observe that here is the two categories, and here also the two categories. Okay, these are all we divided into primarily the two areas. These are all the set, whatever you have seen, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, these are all, we can call it as a client-side technologies. Okay, client-side technology. So client-side technologies mean the technologies which is processed in browser. Here the client is refers the browser. Okay, right. Next, the second category, this will call it as a server-side technologies. These are all processed at server. Okay, say for example, we are all browsing different websites. So every website is having a server. Okay, so suppose you enter the URL www.facebook.com, so it will make a request to Facebook server, which is connected in the internet. Okay, in server, some programs are getting executed. In server, your data will be stored. In server, there is so many activities is happening. Those are all we can do with the help of these technologies. Next, in this, the programming part, okay, say for example, if you consider the login example, or registration, Facebook registration. When your registration, what we do, we enter some values and click submit button. Then that will be transferred to server. Okay, that data will be transferred to server. Okay, in server side, so what happened? There is some programs will be there. There are some activities are going on. Some programs are going to be taking care. Okay, so such kind of programs we are going to prepare using these technologies. Next, finally, we store that data which is given, and that data is stored in the database. Of course, we have some other databases also, Oracle. Recently, there is one special database called MongoDB. This is the one which is highlighted. So MongoDB, okay, MongoDB. This is a one special database. Okay, so these are all, this category I can call it as a databases. Okay, databases, we have a number of databases. So these are all server side technologies or programming languages and some of the server side frameworks. Okay, so this is a separate category that we'll call it as a database. So server side technologies, these are all actually the server side technologies, okay, where we are, in which actually we are supposed to write the programs. Okay, so if you want to build a real-time projects, compulsory any one server side technology is required. Okay, so that is either PHP or .NET or Java. So these are all belongs to either Java or .NET. Okay, I'm just summarizing it, .NET or Java. Okay, so the remaining whatever we have seen, ASP.NET, MVC, servlets, these are all nothing but part of these technologies only. Similarly, recently there is one technology called Node.js. Node.js also server side, which is combination with Express.js or Node Express or Node.js or Express. These two combination is required so that you can build a wonderful server side web applications. So first we should have a minimum awareness about. Then we can decide what we are supposed to learn, what we not to learn, what is required, what is not required. So how can you decide? First, you should have some information. So then only it will be possible, right? So that's why. So before we are moving into technical, our areas. Okay, first we should have a minimum awareness about these things. Okay, right. So now come back to first category, client side. In client side, so we have a JavaScript. This is second category. These we call it as a JavaScript frameworks or libraries. Okay, this is a separate category which is called JavaScript frameworks or JavaScript libraries. Okay, JavaScript frameworks and JavaScript libraries. This is a special category. Okay, right. Basic category is our first items. What are those? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are all the basic items or basic technologies which is part of the every browser. So every programmer, every web programmer, compulsory should be aware of these areas. First, it is a common for all. Even if anybody want to learn, okay, any web relevant technologies, first they should have basic awareness about this, at least a minimum knowledge on it. Okay, right. Next, second, okay, JavaScript libraries. These are all JavaScript frameworks or libraries. Nowadays, the companies are expecting, okay, these web developers or web programmers, compulsory, they should have some awareness on these areas. Okay, so Angular or jQuery, React or Vue.js, etc. Okay, next, server-side technologies. Server-side technologies. What are server-side technologies? PHP, .NET, Java. Okay, suppose if you are planning to settled as a front-end developer, okay, client-side or a basic web designer. Okay, in case if you are planning your career, the first category is enough. These two, 1 and 2 is enough. In case you want to become as a backend developer, then you think about 3 and 4. 1 is a common. Okay, I'll write that your job roles also. Okay, first option is front end developer, because we should have a proper idea, right? So when you are learning something, why you are learning, what is your target, what is the purpose, isn't it? So the front end developer, okay, you should require the first one, that is a compulsory, plus second one. 1 and 2 is enough. Okay, right? Any of these items. Okay, here it is not the meaning like you learn all the frameworks, not required. Any one is enough. Okay, but I'm talking about categories. Okay, so any of this technology, right? Next, if it is a backend developer, for backend developer compulsory 1, 3 plus 4. So 3 is what? Server side technologies. 4 is a database. So what you are going to plan, how you want to look at your career in IT industry. Okay, right. Next, we have another job role, which is nowadays it is very popular. Even from freshers onwards, the companies are expecting such kind of profiles. Even today morning also, I got a couple of training calls for the corporate. They are the freshers only, but they are expecting, the training in full stack developer. Okay, so full stack developer. So what is this full stack developer? Full stack developer are combination of all these items. They are expertise in all areas. Okay, this is the role which the companies are expecting. Yes, at the same time, you may have job opportunities even for front-end developers also. If you search in the any job portal like UI developers, yes, definitely you will have the opportunities. But more priority is for the full stack developers. Okay, in case if you have that. No, sir, I'm not much comfortable in server side technologies, databases, and all these things. Yes, then you can happily go for this. Okay, front end developers also, you have n number of openings are there. Okay, if you want, I'll share the job notifications also to you. So many opportunities nowadays. Okay, even for front end developers also. And moreover, nowadays the application development, we can do more with front end developers. In olden days, okay, suppose if team of 10 members, if 2 members are client side, 8 members server side or back end, 2 front end, and 8 members are back end developers, we are maintaining the teams. But nowadays, after releasing this Angular, all these things, the numbers will be reversed. So now the 8 members are front end, 2 members are back end is enough. We can happily build the project, because nowadays the development pattern will be changed. So there is a more programming or more activities, maximum percentage of the activities that we are doing with the help of the front end areas. Okay, that's why, so we can see the lot of demand for these client side technologies nowadays. If you search for that Angular developers, okay, we have so many job opportunities on that, isn't it? So that we have some awareness. So now you think about how you want to build your career. So are you looking for the front-end developer, back-end developer? Only if you have back-end developer, I think nowadays you may not have much chances. Sir, I know Java, I know .NET. So your profile may not be completely, fulfilled the requirements. So better to add these front-end skills. Definitely you will become as a full stack developer. In case if you have only front-end developers, yes, wonderful. Definitely you will get the opportunities. Okay. So obviously, comparatively, we can put less efforts. Front-end developers no need to learn about all the server-side technologies, databases, frameworks, all these things. Just it will be easy for learning and getting the jobs also. Okay, this is a just basic the details on different roles and what are the different technologies. And one more point I just want to clear: server side technologies means it is not the meaning learn everything. Okay, in case if anybody, anyone, either PHP or .NET or Java or Node or Express. Similarly, databases also, any one database is enough, that will be good, isn't it? Almost rest of the things you can easily understand that. Any one database, isn't it? Okay, so that is it. So when it comes to front end, first category, all three is required. In second, either Angular. Okay, Angular is the highest priority. Okay, so jQuery, once upon a time it was having a huge market, but now only with jQuery we don't have it. That is just additional, okay, skill. Okay, React and Vue.js, these are all additional other libraries. Okay, alternatively for either React or Vue.js, but we have the more job market is for Angular. If you just search in in any job portal, you can find the rating on that. Okay, so this is the few background details about our web technologies. Okay, right. So at this moment, so do you have any questions? In case if yes, can you please uh, drop in the chat panel? Okay, or else we move forward. Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, good. Sounds good. Okay, we'll move forward. Right. Okay. So in client side technologies, okay, these are all whatever technologies that we have, these are all we divided into the categories, couple of categories, especially for client side. Okay, the in web development history, all technologies which we are involved, these basically we categorized into two. So one is a client side and another one is a server side. Client side and the server side, we already discussed a couple of areas. Okay, now we're digging into more information client side, because our target is Angular is a client side. That's why we are more concentrate on it. In client side, I given some of the options. First, we'll look at these three areas. Okay, HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I'll just give some few details. First one, HTML. Okay, so I hope you heard about that. HTML is a hypertext markup language. This is basically which is a help us for creating a web page. Okay, it will provide the structure for your web page. Okay, so using HTML we can create a web pages. Okay, so it is going to provide. Okay, so basically it just provides that structure for your web page. Okay, yeah, if you are having any uh, yes, structure for web page. So without HTML, we can't apply the CSS, we can't use the JavaScript, right? So first HTML, of course, in web development, internet, whenever that internet was introduced, first time when the people are developing websites, they use only HTML. Okay, so even till today, the first website which was developed, still it is maintained by W3C organization. First website, first web page. Okay, it is there. If you search in the Google, okay, first website, definitely you can get that. Okay, it includes only HTML, no other. But that is in the 1991. Later in the 93 time period, they are added CSS. Sir, what is this CSS? The CSS is a cascading style sheets. So basically, this is going to be helpful for applying the styles. Okay, applying styles to web pages. So first, for creating web pages, for providing structure for your website web page, so what is required? HTML is required. So if first one is not there, obviously we don't have second and third, right? Yeah, that is important. So CSS, so CSS is a, this is a helpful for applying the styles to web pages. Then JavaScript. Then why JavaScript is introduced? Most of the people, yeah, I just want to have your answers for this question. What is the purpose of JavaScript? Do you have any idea? If yes, please drop your answers in chat panel. Then we will move forward. Because JavaScript is very popular for do some task. What task? For which task or which activities we do? Yeah, performing events. Okay. Poonam, thank you. Next, actions. Yes, Rajshekhar, you are absolutely correct. Client-side validations. JavaScript was very popular for performing validations. Okay, so performing validations. So validations are nothing but, so whenever you are submitting data to the server, make sure that whether data is valid or not. Is that data is valid data or not? Isn't it? Okay. Suppose if username is required, if age is there, if age should be some value. Okay, suppose if I give -10, the age of the customer or the person, it is not going to be accepted, isn't it? Okay, if I give to 250 is the age, that won't be accepted. So we have some limitations are there, isn't it? So before we are sending data to the server, we supposed to perform the validations. For that, JavaScript is required. So once we do all these things, and then finally, when a web page is developing, even Facebook, Gmail, anything, these are all the things are involved. Whatever is visible to you on the screen in the browser, so it is a mixing of all these things: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Once they perform the validations and submitting that data to the server, okay, and then in server side, the server side technologies is process the data and storing into the database. That is server side technologies today. So here right now we are focusing on the client side. So JavaScript. So what JavaScript is doing here? So basically the JavaScript is going to be helpful for us for performing what? Validations. Okay. So performing validations. Okay. Okay. Just a second. I will share one screen which is helpful to understand about the validation stuff. So we'll have a proper understanding about validations. Just a second. So in order to understanding that the validation, because JavaScript is so very popular for that, okay, for performing so validations. Yeah, I'll show a sample option. Yes, look at here. I think my screen is visible to all of you. Yeah. Yes. So in this video, so you can experience or you can understand about that the validation stuff. So when we are sending the data to the server, so we supposed to validate it. Okay, for that purpose, for that purpose that JavaScript was introduced. Nowadays the JavaScript is a JavaScript or related validations, whatever the validation that you are perform, most of the validations that are available in HTML5, some new controls, or most of the validations are automated. Then why we are using client-side technologies nowadays? So apart from the validation, there is so many other areas that we are going to focus, that we are going to do in client side. Okay, so in nowadays as I said in the beginning of the in our discussions, okay, nowadays the 80% of the project the people are developing using JavaScript or JavaScript related technologies, isn't it? That means apart from the validation, there are so many other technologies or so many other activities that we are going to do with the help of these client-side technologies. Okay, so using this JavaScript or JavaScript relevant technologies, we are performing so many operations. Okay, so if you observed any websites like Flipkart, Amazon, okay, when you are doing searching related operations, filtrations kind of things, there is several things that we can do with the client side technologies without a complete page reloading, partial page updates. Okay, that we can do with client side technologies. There are so many activities that we do with client side technologies. So nowadays, as I said, 80% of application development, that we are doing with client side. So if that is the case in client side technologies, so one of the programming language or language that we are using is JavaScript. So in client side technologies, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, in that the programming is JavaScript on. Okay, so apart from the validation, we are performing several operations. Okay, operations at client side. Okay, so with the help of the JavaScript. So nowadays we do this JavaScript for different kinds of operations, for applying the animations, show and hiding the controls and filtrations, data filtrations, partial page updates, several things that we can do. Okay, so I'm going to in detail clear explanation in our next upcoming classes. Okay, so we are in detail we are going to discuss about that, what is the issues with olden programming languages, traditional language, web applications, and latest what kind of techniques they are following in the industry. Okay, how these techniques will be advantageous, how these techniques causes all these client side technologies nowadays. These are all several things that we are going to address in our upcoming next sessions also. Okay, right. Today I'm just giving briefing about these areas. Okay, right. Next, JavaScript is doing several activities. Now come to the point. So if you are performing these kind of initially in the 1995 time period, when JavaScript was first time it was introduced, everybody is using only for the validations purpose. But nowadays the people are using more JavaScript for different operations. So in that situation, what happened? We supposed to write more JavaScript code, because JavaScript is having very limited facilities for writing the program. JavaScript is not that much powerful like Java and .NET server-side technologies. JavaScript is having very limited number of facilities. Okay, limited number of libraries. So that is the reason there are some new no third-party libraries and frameworks are introduced in the market. Okay, so third party libraries, third party means somebody else is developed but we are using. Third party libraries means somebody, different companies are developed but we are using in our browser. Okay, so simple example, when you are buying a new cell phone, by default some games are available, but apart from that you are downloading some games, isn't it? So that games are not developed by your cell phone company but somebody else, but you are using those games, right? So those are all third-party games developed by somebody, but you are using on the device. Third-party libraries developed somebody, developed by somebody, but you are using on the in this particular technology. So these are third-party libraries like jQuery. In 2007, when I was working with Microsoft, we involved these frameworks, libraries. Dojo, YUI, Yahoo UI library. Of course, these titles you may not see nowadays. Okay, but in those days we have. Next, after that, in 2009, Google team was come up with a new framework called AngularJS. AngularJS, not Angular. AngularJS is different, Angular is different. In 2009, AngularJS, the beta version was released. Next, in 2000, first 2-3 years, the Google is used that Angular framework within the company only. But in 2012, the first version of AngularJS was released into the market. The first version of AngularJS released into the market. So after that, in 2016, Angular 2 series, a new product was released into the market. That is what we are discussing in our training program. Our training program is, the module is Angular 2 series. That Angular 2, later it is upgraded as 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Latest version is Angular 10. That is our, the training is Angular 10 training program. Okay, so that is the connectivity between different technologies. So client side technologies. Okay, in client side, there is so many things are involved. Among those, Angular will play one of the important role. First Angular, later Angular, Angular JS is the old one. Angular series is the next, okay, further advanced series. Okay, Angular JS is different, Angular 2 series is different. From 2016 onwards, Angular 2 series of applications are the framework is very popular into the market. So this training program is targeted that. Okay, now the latest version of Angular is Angular 10 that we are using in our applications. Okay, Angular 10 is our target. Okay, Angular 10. So in our complete training program, so we are going to discuss about the Angular 10, and Angular is required one special language. Even that language also, I'm going to provide the details. Okay, Angular 10 is our training program. In that, we are going to use a new and wonderful language. That language also, I will give the training. Part of this training program. I will explain it in the upcoming classes in new language. Okay, for this training program, the main prerequisites is basics of HTML, CSS, and fundamentals of JavaScript knowledge. At least basic knowledge. Or any other languages, if you have, that is enough. You can happily learn Angular. If you have basic awareness about HTML tags, some styles, at least colors, you know how to apply, and JavaScript fundamentals, or any other programming languages like Java or C# or any other languages. Okay, in case if you are completely client-side technology background, then no problem at all. Okay, so Angular is common for all developers. Okay, so UI developers, client-side, server-side, Java, .NET, PHP, for all technologies you can happily integrate that Angular. Okay, so Angular is a common training program for all of us. Okay, so it is around 30 to 35 hours of the training program that we are going to do. Okay, so yeah, we'll share, our team will be share that course content also to you, so no need to worry about that. Okay, the details will be, my team will be provide that. Okay, so you no need to worry about that. Okay, they will communicate with you regarding. Okay, so yeah, this Angular 10 is the current version that we are going to deal in this training program. Prerequisites is just basics of HTML or CSS or JavaScript. Okay, right, so that is, and today I'm just giving some brief information about what are all these things. Okay, in next sessions we are going to discuss about in detail, so what exactly that Angular, how these version series are there. Okay, why nowadays the demand for a client-side technologies. Okay, in olden days, what are the issues in traditional web applications? In the latest web application models, what is the new concepts are introduced? Okay, how it is influencing the market, that particular topic. These are all I'm going to address in the next session. Okay, don't miss it. Okay, yeah. In that, I'm going to talking about the Ajax and JSON. There is a two very popular buzzwords nowadays in web development, profiles and requirements and the trainings everywhere. Ajax and JSON. These two very important keywords, the buzzwords, the technology words in web development. Okay, I'm going to address what are those two, the words and the in detail in the next session. Okay, right now, this is the time for Q&A. So if you have any queries, so you can ask me. Non-technical queries regarding the training, documentations, fees, those are all you can communicate with our team. Okay, technical areas, if you have anything, you can please ask me in this. Okay, yeah, you can feel free to ask me if you have any questions. Yes, use chat panel. Please drop your queries. I'll try to address it. Yes, I'm going to show you practical example. Every day with example, I'm going to explain to you. Okay, first concept explanation, then practical explanation. Everything we are going to provide. The same thing, I will share that classroom examples also to all of you. Descriptive notes I will provide for every session, and the practical example also I will show it to you. No problem at all. So today I'm just giving, these are all just demo sessions. I'm giving the brief theoretical information, but in regular classes, so definitely I'm going to provide the examples also to all of you. So no need to worry about that. Yeah. So tomorrow we have the session, same timings, 8:30 a.m. Sorry, p.m. 8:30 p.m. IST to 9:30 p.m. The entire training is based on the Angular 10. On the latest version, you are going to learn Angular topics. The course content also, my team will be shared to you. Okay, so you can look at it. Yes, I'll show multiple examples how to connect, live servers, how to connect the local servers, how to connect the JSON server. Yeah, so I'll show that examples. In Ajax concept, we are going to look at those areas. Yeah.
So can I ask questions? Hello. Yes, sir. This is Kapil. Can I ask questions?
Okay. So anything else? If no, so we can wind up the session. Okay. Yeah, we have in market versions are upgrading 3 months once. How to upgrade the latest one? I will provide the details how you will, when new version is released, what areas it is, because I'm addressing on session separately on this. Yes, Kapil, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Yes, sir. So
Yes,
actually, I
please.
wanted to ask, as I would like to learn a front-end framework. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
So Angular is uh, better or React is better. So should I start for learn? What do you say?
Your voice is not audible properly. Can you please little bit? Yeah,
Okay.
louder.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
please.
So after that, as we are going to start learning Angular. So actually, I had a question
Mhm.
that I should start learning Angular or React. Which one is better? And yes, I am a backend developer, a .NET developer. So I
Mhm.
implement front-end framework as well in my resume. So Angular is better choice or React is better choice. So what do you think?
Okay. Compare with React, Angular is better. Yeah.
Okay.
Why? Because React is addresses only view part, the presentation part, mainly they are concerned. Okay, but Angular is addressing all areas.
Okay, fine. So how we are going to learn Angular in this training program? So would be having, would be doing some projects or how what is the learning path? Start with
The
that.
learning path is I know my team will be sharing complete course content to you. Okay,
Hmm.
so we have Angular training. Okay, it is around 30 to 35 hours of the training program. Okay, so in that I'm going to deal all the concepts of the Angular, like the routing concept, the animations, Angular materials, Ajax, data binding, templates, and forms. Several areas are there. Those are all complete. The content will be shared to you. Okay, that is. So this training program is not including any project. Okay, as of now. Maybe if it is a project training, is it's not, maybe we'll plan later, but right now in this session you don't have any project things. In case if you are interested, I'll give some sharing some ideas to you, so you can implement it by your own. If any suggestions are the, any technical help that is required, I'll just provide the concerned guidelines to you in case if you are interested. But in this is only that course training program. This is not including the project.
Okay. Okay. So we are just
Yes.
going to learn concepts, all the concepts, right?
Yeah, all the concepts of the Angular.
All the
Okay, and
concepts.
moreover, we are implementing several case studies in that. At the time, almost it is similar to that, because Angular itself is a project development based approaches. Okay, and from day one onwards, if you want to create single example also, we have to create Angular project, and in that approach, we are going to handle all the activities accordingly. Yeah, so you are in a position to develop your project by your own. Okay, at the end, accordingly, we'll deal all the concepts.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Hmm. Okay, right. Yeah, thank you. It will be helpful for us for experience point of view also, because already I'm doing technical job support for Angular. Already two projects I'm dealing right now. Okay, so according to these project based requirements, I'll try to involve in the examples also. That is a boost of the experience to you. Yes. Okay. Yeah.